welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, my next guest tonight has served in 3 presidential administrations, written 19 books, and spent 40 years as a professor of public policy. Please welcome the former Secretary of Labor, Robert Reich. Nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you.
You know, I enjoy. Last time we spoke was 15 years ago.
Yes, you haven't changed.
Neither of you. on the Colbert Report, and then of course I couldn't really agree with what you were saying, or really even understand what you were saying. But one of the things that you said in that interview has stuck with me ever since. We were talking about economic inequality in the United States and what the fruit of that would be. And you said at the time, here's the choice we have. Either we have reform. And in this country, we have always chosen, when we understand the nature of a problem, we always choose reform. Reform that enlarges the circle of prosperity for most people. Or we have a backlash, an angrier politics that picks on immigrants or foreign trade or blames the poor or even the rich. I was really hoping the first half of that statement would be true. I kept on waiting for, I think you said at the time, like the tap of justice to be opened a little bit, just so those at the top could preserve their position. Because this second half leads ultimately towards some form of revolution. Would you please oraculate as to where we go from here? Because I think we know which one of these two it turned out to be.
Well, I think we have no choice, Stephen, except to hope and work for democracy, and to make the rule of law, again, the rule of our country.
How do you, I'm just curious. I agree with you. That was what a lot of the last campaign was fought over. It didn't move the majority of Americans. I'm just curious, how do you actually make that a reality, do you think? Because it's an excellent goal, but how do you make that immediate in people's lives so they make that a motivating factor?
You get big money out of politics.
Okay, on Friday, Trump fired a senior official from the Bureau of Labor Statistics because he didn't like the data that said the last 3 months of job growth were the worst since the pandemic. You were former labor secretary. You know that bureau well. What is the upshot of firing somebody like that?
Well, that means that there will be no credibility left when the government reports its jobs numbers, because people will say, if they're good job numbers, if it looks like jobs were increased, people will say, well, wait a minute, that's because Trump put the pressure on the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Put his own person in there just to cook the books.
So I think the credibility of, it's not just the Bureau of Labor Statistics anymore, Stephen. It's the entire, all of the data coming out of the government is now questionable because you've got a president who does not want facts. He doesn't want data. And this is extraordinarily dangerous. This is the authoritarian playbook. And we have got to, one of the things we've got to do in this country, what makes me optimistic is not only young people. I am optimistic because young people are committed to changing this. But I'm also optimistic because people now can see actually how important it is not only to have a democracy, but to have honesty and integrity. And it's, I really believe that just like the turn of the last century, we had the first Gilded Age. We are now in the second Gilded Age. That first one, what happened after the first Gilded Age, we had something that historians call the progressive era. We're now going to have a new progressive era coming after this second Gilded Age. I'm sure of it.
You're sure of it?
I can see
You're sure of it?
Well, I can see the future. You just said I can say
it. You did oraculate. A little over 6 months into Trump's administration, job growth, as the statistics would say, is slowing. Inflation is up. There's an onslaught of tariffs, which haven't even all kicked in yet. How do you think Trump's presidency will impact economic growth and inequity in the long and near term? So,
well, in the near term, we are going to have wider and wider inequality. It's not just the tariffs. It's also, you know, you take $1 trillion out of Medicaid, which is the program primarily for the working class and the poor, and you give a big tax cut that provides $1 trillion tax cut mostly for the rich. How do you justify this? How in the world do you justify this? I think people are going to see the light. They're going to say, this is not fair. This is just simply not fair.
There may have been a justification for these tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans and adding $4 trillion to the debt. I didn't ever really hear one. I didn't even hear sort of the perfunctory like, oh, well, you know, the Laffer curve, and the more you cut, the more the revenue goes up. Did you hear any justification?
I listened carefully.
Yes.
I heard none.
We want to do it is all I heard.
We want to do it. We want to. It's important. You know, we've had trickle-down economics since Ronald Reagan, and nothing has ever trickled down.
Oh, something has trickled down.
That's true.
We have to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Robert Reich, everybody. Stick around.